Hello everybody, my name is Safi and welcome to Overcoming the Diet Mindset podcast. I am 7 years post-op and a training psychotherapist. On this podcast, my aim is to vanish crappy, fad dieting and unhelpful thinking, to reclaim our mindset with a little rewiring so we can stop yo-yo dieting and get off the roller coaster for once and for all. Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be interviewing Martin. Martin has had a gastric sleeve and I've connected with Martin via Instagram, and he's a big inspiration to the community. He's really trying to bring everybody together, and I just wanted him to come and share his story, and hopefully that could inspire somebody, provide education. We're all different, and I think the more that we hear from our community, people with lived experiences, the more that it will support us to understand our journey and realize that, we're all different and we'll be at different stages, but it would just be really nice to know that you're not alone and everybody's got their ups and downs. And so hello Martin, how are you?
Hi Safi, how are you?
I am well, thank you. I am so happy to have you. Thank you for joining us.
That's no problem. I'm more than grateful.
Fantastic. So Martin, if you just take it away, tell us a bit about your story and, tell us everything.
No problem. Okay, so hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Martin. Currently I am 51 years old. I was 50 years old when I had my surgery. Yeah, and my life has been up and down as a yo-yo dieter for as long as I can remember, really, right back to my childhood. So different medical conditions, sleep apnea, full obstructive sleep apnea. I had blood clots, I had respiratory failure about 7 years ago. My weight has just spiraled considerably, right up to my heaviest point in February of 2022 when I was 32 stone, 4 pounds. So I was already referred for surgery, gastric sleeve, at least 4 years before that. Obviously, COVID part in the delay of my surgery. It was due to be in March of 2022, and then obviously COVID came, so I was cancelled. I was then pushed on to November of 2022. No, sorry, I think it would have been 21, my mistake. It was 2021, sorry. And then I was actually 4 days into the liver reduction diet, which is a diet you need to do before your gastric surgery to shrink your liver. I was 4 days into that, and then I was cancelled for the second time. So then I was pushed on, and eventually I had my surgery on the 15th of February 2022. So I'm now around sort of 15 months post-op, and I have to say that it's probably one of the best things that's ever come into my life. It's given me a second chance in life. I was so ill with different complications. I couldn't walk very far. And when I say very far, I mean I could not walk very far at all. So my whole life has changed around. Since then, I have now managed to lose 4 pounds short of 16 stone.
Wow.
It's been tough. I won't say it's been easy. The sleeve or bypass, as we all know, is not a cure for obesity or is only a tool to aid you in getting your life back, basically. And yes, my medical conditions have all completely improved. I've now come off of my BiPAP machine, which was for my sleep apnea. I've been signed off of that after 6 years of using that, when I was told originally that I'd probably be on it for life. So that is a massive achievement for me, and all the other health benefits that have gone with it. It's just incredible. It's, as I say, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I'm grateful to my surgeon in King's College Hospital in London, Miss Chang. She gave me that operation, and I have spoken to her a couple of times since, and she's more than pleased with my progress. As I say, I was an NHS patient. I wasn't private. I know some people find it a long time to have to wait on the NHS. Obviously, with the backup from the pandemic and stuff, have not helped that situation. And it has become quite I wouldn't say the word popular, but it's become a sort of necessity for a lot of people, the weight loss surgery, to aid in their rehabilitation, I suppose, into life, if you want to call it that. Yo-yo dieting, as so many of us know, is a difficult thing that we've all lived with. Yeah, so I mean, for me personally, my journey's been amazing.
Marta, just quickly, how long did it take for you to decide that you wanted to have the operation to the operation? So when was that moment that you decided you're going to go and see your GP? How was that
Okay,
journey?
so yeah, I mean, that was probably over 4 years before my surgery. It was an option where I knew I was struggling. I tried countless dieting over I'd lose weight, but then it would soon bounce back on again. So yeah, I went to the GP, got the referral. As I say, in total, it took sort of 4 years from the original up to the surgery date, but COVID was in that mix. So I think the average, I believe, is at least sort of 2 years, 2 to 3 years. So yeah, it was a long, long wait, a long, long wait.
So especially now that we all know that COVID is, there's a backlog, so on with waiting. How has the journey been for you since you've had the weight loss surgery? Are you having regular checkups? Are you able to, how's your aftercare been?
Okay, so my team have been amazing. My dietitians, my surgical team, I have had full support from them. I've got what they just say as an open appointment. I can contact them at any time. Yeah, and the response I get from them has been amazing. My GP has been amazing with me. I know some people struggle with the GPs and stuff, but mine have been fantastic. I can't fault them, not one bit. Regular blood tests, reviewing my medication constantly. The dietitians are always in contact with me. Probably every sort of 8 weeks, I get in contact with my dietitians. They check how my foods are, how my fluid intake's going. Yeah, so for me, aftercare from the NHS has been amazing. I can't fault it one bit.
That sounds really good, and I think that sounds really comprehensive. A lot of us, it's very alien to me when you describe that situation, because it's a world away from my experience as somebody who had weight loss abroad. I can see how that is really supportive, and I watch your journey, and I know that your weight is coming off, and you're doing amazing, and you look really, really healthy. How has it impacted your, let's say, your friendships, your home life? What's changed? Is there anything that's changed so far within your dynamics?
Okay, so yeah, I was a very recluse, really struggled with social anxiety, going out and being around people. I literally couldn't even walk around the shops physically or mentally in my mind. I was afraid of how people were looking at me, and yeah, just in general, feeling not good about myself. My marriage was struggling. My grandchildren, all they wanted to do was granddad to take them out, and I found it very difficult to be able to do that. I had to keep letting them down. There was family days out that I couldn't go on because I knew I'd struggle. Yeah, just life in general was very, very difficult for me, very depressing. I spent a long time in depression, but everything's changed. Everything has become amazing. As I say, it's not easy. It's not a given that having the surgery turns everything round for you. You still have to work and be very determined mentally, physically. Yeah, my whole mindset has just totally changed, my whole way of thinking. And I believe the way people think of me as well has changed, which I find very rewarding. It's brought me and my wife closer together again, which is something that was very important to me. I felt like we was at breaking point. Obviously, we still have different ups and downs and things through life, but that's life in general. But surgery-wise, it has totally transformed my whole dynamic. and just made me feel better about myself mentally and obviously physically.
That sounds amazing, Martin, because usually, especially in social media, it's usually the other way. And usually, people have weight loss surgery. And I know that sometimes it's nicknamed the divorce, that you end up getting divorced and things really change.
Yes.
So I'm really delighted for you that it's had the opposite impact and it's really improved your relationships all over. And that sounds amazing to me from what I see on social media. When you say to me that you had social anxiety and you really struggled to be around people, that's definitely not the person. If somebody said to me, I know I only know what I see on social media, but
of course,
it would have definitely, I would have definitely said, oh, Martin's a really outgoing person. He's an extrovert. He's somebody who, who likes being with people, who's comfortable. And that's definitely what I'm getting from watching your journey. So that's just amazing. The fact that in such a short period of time, it's had such a positive impact on your
100%.
Your well-being.
I mean, people always say to me, "Oh, you're a very confident guy" and stuff like that. But I have put stories on and posts on about the struggles with it, and I do believe it's important as well to not just highlight all the positives that come with it. I do believe that showing some vulnerability and the struggles that I still have on a daily basis. I'm not saying everything's amazing. I still have days where it's not as great as other days. But I think life in general can be that way anyway. So obviously dealing with the sort of bariatric part of it, whether it's physically or mentally, is very important. And I think it's important, just as important, to put that side across on any social media platform to people, as well as all the positives that come with it. And when I do put anything on that I've been struggling and stuff like that, the response I get from people is overwhelming. It's like, as I always say on all my videos and stuff, we all pull together as one. And I do believe there's no truer words than that. It's incredible that you can meet groups of people who you probably before surgery would not have any connection with whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, you bring in people together from all walks of life, from all different parts of the world. I've got followers from Australia. I've got followers from New Zealand. I've got followers from America, all around Europe, Germany, Poland. And it's like, it's mind-blowing, and it's like, it's so refreshing. And the comments and things I get from people, I still find it very difficult to take compliments from people. Whereas I always struggled with that, being a big lad growing up. I was always the funny one in the group, which humour was a way of, I think for a lot of people when they're overweight, I think humour is a way of hiding that anxiety that they have inside, just trying to be funny. And, distraction is a lot to do with it. But yeah, as I say, things have totally changed for me now.
It's self-protection or self-preservation. I can never say that word, but yes. Yeah, most of us who've had weight, I guess we usually, we're the funny ones. So, because I would point out to everybody, and make the fat jokes about myself, so nobody could get in there before me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So with. Oh, is that your doggy?
That's yeah, right. My doggy's barking, sorry.
So he wants to join in as well. He wants to join into the podcast. It's just another thing I wanted to just say was, I think watching, as we come as a community together, and definitely this community wasn't something that was available to me in 2015 when I first had my surgery. So I think people who have that surgery are very, very lucky, who are having it now, to have a community that's coming together like the way that the bariatric community is at the moment. And I know that sometimes even on your chat, there are people on there saying how they struggle, and I know that you're there to support them, and you must be having a lot of conversations with people on your DMs, on your private chats. What kind of, and now my cat is at it. Oh my Lord. What are the kind of, I guess concentrating a bit on the psychological side, because as you know, that's what I'm interested in. What are some of the difficulties that are coming up for people? So let me just elaborate. I did an interview with my therapist, and she said about 98%. The statistics show about 98% of people who have weight loss surgery have disordered eating. So whether it's binge eating or any other form of disordered eating before they have therapy, before they have weight loss surgery. So that's a huge community. That's a 98. That's a big percentage of
Yes.
So have you come across, some of the chats that you've had with people who that's coming up for after they've come out of weight loss surgery?
Yeah, 100% definitely. Yeah, I think it's quite common. I don't believe it's, what's so difficult about it is I think is getting people to speak out about it as well. It's people, it's so, try and find the right words to use for it. It's very, very difficult for people. As I say, I realise that a lot of it is in the mind as well. And sometimes society can be so cruel to people. People don't necessarily mean to be cruel, but just a look or something like that can cause people massive anxiety. So yeah, I mean, mentally, I had a lot of mental struggles with my weight, and I know a lot of people have reached out to me and said, like, how did you overcome their mental struggles with it and things? I never had any. I've not had no. I know some people get sort of psychological counselling and things like that from even before surgery, and I think it's important pre-surgery as well to get people's minds in the right place for what they're going through, what is going to change, what is to come. I didn't have any of that. I was quite lucky in that sense that I managed to deal with a lot of the issues and things going on in my mind myself. But I know for some people that's not an option. They do need the support of outsiders and things like that. So mental struggles for me was not too severe. It was just the fact that I knew I'd have to make a total change to everything in my life, which was a battle, and it still is a battle. I'm not saying I'm through that. It's definitely something that I still have issues with from time to time. Not in a bad way where I feel like I'm going to go backwards, because I believe that it's all about moving forward, staying positive as much as you can. You can't change what's gone on in the past. It's happened, it's gone, whether it's scarred you or not, which it does scar a lot of people. Living in the past is not a good thing. It's damaging, it can be damaging. It's all about trying to be as positive as you can, moving forward. As I say to people, stay focused, stay positive, try to stay on track. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but what I've learned is that, and it might be an old cliche, it might be an old saying, but if you put your mind to it, you can achieve anything. And I do believe that is very true. I mean, it speaks volumes for me, what I've managed to achieve so far. I'm not finished yet. I've still got more to do, more work to do. But yeah, mental problems with it can be tough. But I always say to people, you're not alone. They'd reach out to the community, the weight loss community, not just me. I had inspirational people that I went to early stage of mine, who I'm still in regular contact with, who I still see on meetups that I do and things like that. So don't be afraid to reach out to people, especially people that are experiencing what you may be experiencing. I always say that friends and family can be mega supportive, but it's only people that are going through the same process that can truly understand how you may be feeling physically or mentally.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think until you walk in our shoes, until you for example, if you're somebody who I'm very much an emotional eater, and as soon as that's been removed from me, that's been my crutch. That's been the one thing that's been consistent in my life. So to remove that, I was left without my best friend. And I think for anybody that's, for anybody that's really scared that that, you know, they've got strong feelings around food, that they've got, it's creeping back, you know, those thoughts are creeping back. Like you said, Martin, you know, first come, you know, thoughts and emotions, they're all connected and everything. I think if you've got that positive outlook, it's going to impact how you feel, and it's going to impact the choices you make and the way you view, you know, yourself and your journey. But because we come from a dieting society, and which labeled us as, you know, oh, you've fallen off the wagon again, oh, you've messed up again. So there's so much shame. And that's one thing I'm really passionate about, is removing that shame out of everything.
Yes, 100%.
You know,
I mean, it was always a comfort thing. People go to food for comfort and things like that. So trying to find a new direction rather than going back to the old habits of, you know, if you're having a bad day or something, you know, there could be problems in your family where, you know, sort of, I don't know, maybe sort of bereavements and things like that. It could be quite easy to fall back into old habits and the comfort part of going back to food for comfort. I think, again, it's a distraction. You need to distract yourself from that. I mean, I could probably quite easily fall back into old habits, but for me, determination, and I don't want to go back to that dark place where I've been. It's not something I want to live again. I've spent years living that life, and I believe I wasted a lot of my life living that way, just eating myself into oblivion, really, for the reasons of, I knew I was big, I knew I needed to do something about it, but everything just seemed such a challenge. Everything just seemed so difficult, so tough to do. So what do? You still comfort eat, and then it's just spirals, and it just keeps going and going and going to the point of, where does it stop? Where would it actually stop? I firmly believe that, and I've said this to countless people, including my family, my friends, my social media platforms, that if I would have carried on doing what I was doing, I probably would not be alive now. It was that bad for me that it needed to change. And yeah, food, my relationship with food is now over. Obviously, I still eat. You still eat foods. But my relationship with the way I used to look at food, think about food, eat food is gone. It's absolutely gone. I'm quite happy now living the way I do with food. People ask me about if they're considering surgery, will I be able to eat socially again in a social environment and things like that? Well, yes, the answer to that is yes, you can, obviously in moderation, but it's not something that you will lose from your life. And a lot of people will get hung up on that sort of thing. If you're a social person to start with, maybe for the wrong reasons, like we hit on earlier about you're the funny one in the group and stuff like that. And they're worried about, will they ever be able to go out and socialise and stuff again? Well, yes, you can, but you'll learn to socialise in a slightly different way as regards to the food you eat and the way you eat your foods and the way you think about your foods. I always thought that all I think about is food. And I thought that after surgery, I wouldn't think about food anymore. But I probably think about food more now than I ever did. But I think about it in a healthy, positive, totally different way to the way I used to think about food. Food was always just, it was junk, it was rubbish, it was easy to sit and eat a whole bag of crisps, or not just a bag of crisps, but like a, say, multi-pack bag of crisps, or a whole box of cakes, or a whole big bar of chocolate, maybe 2 bars of chocolate. Now, you know, I will still eat crisps, I will still eat chocolate, but I will eat it in a controlled way that, and it's not something I do every day. It is now a treat, which I believe it should have been classed as to start with, but because of the way we were, or I was, and also I do believe the way advertising's pushed on people and things like that. I mean, that's another subject that I could get really deep into. I mean, you know, you'll get an advert on TV or radio for, say, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, or any of them types of companies that are out there. And then the following advert will be for junk food, for chicken or for burgers. Or so where is the conflict in people's minds with things like that? It's like what is going on in society to to keep people on a sort of level when one minute they're it's trying to bring you up and then it's pushing you down, and yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world.
I think we're like a pawn. Are they called pawns? Those chess game, those chess
Yes,
pieces.
they are called pawns. Yes,
that's because one minute they want us to go and lose weight and go to Slimming World or those adverts, and the next minute, there's all this junk food, and those two industries are huge industries which are making billions.
They're massive.
And they really benefit from people like us who are going to start on Monday, who are going to beat ourselves up about it.
Exactly right.
But psychologically, they know what they're doing. They know the fact,
of course,
how addictive their processed food is. They've got scientists. They've got all sorts of people working to make us more addicted. Which is like another whole episode that we can do about this, because I think,
of course,
that's where the problem really lies, is processed food and what it does to our biology and our brain. And then
100%.
And then they put the blame back on us and say it's personal responsibility. No, it's not. Ultimately, so that's a humongous one. But and I totally understand that. And for a lot of us, it is part of our identity that we do. You look, you're part of that could be your relationship. The only thing you enjoy is going out with your mates for a curry, your relationship surrounded by food, and that is who you are. And suddenly you're not that person who can eat anymore. So who are you now? So you have to find a whole new identity,
Exactly right. But that's where the community, again, I will always revert back to the community. I believe I would have done really well on my own, but to then become part of the community, and then literally I've got my own community now as well. I believe for me, it's a good platform for me to stay accountable to myself, because I give all the information I can to people. I try and encourage people. I try and help people, which I am doing. Now, for me to then fall away from that and slip back into bad habits and things like that, not only am I letting myself down, but then I'll feel like I will be letting everybody else down with it as well. So that keeps me accountable as well. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. The meetups and things that I'm arranging all around the country, the meetups I've been to that I've not arranged, that I've been to that other people have arranged, meeting amazing people, just meeting, I've not met anybody who's a bad person. Everybody's so together as one. And like just going up to the bariatric ball that I attended a couple of weeks ago and sitting with 400 people was just, I thought for me it was going to be too overwhelming. I personally thought it was going to be, my social anxiety would kick in really badly again. But the whole thing was just, it was like one big family, all sitting together. It was amazing. There was people who came. I know there was people who came who literally arrived and was so nervous about coming into the venue. And then groups of people were going out and bringing people into the venue and sitting them down. And within 10 minutes, then people just realised how special it was and how approachable everybody was and how they could, interact with everyone. And and the messages I had after from people that I brought in and sort of eased into the evening, should we say, the messages I had from them were like, they were heartwarming, they were amazing, like thanking me. And, I pushed them out of their comfort zone, and it was something they'd not done for a long, long time, where they'd sat in the background, they hadn't been involved with, as I was, like more of a recluse living at home and just not wanting to be around people. So, the whole thing is just incredible. And I encourage anybody, if you are feeling that way socially and feeling it mentally and stuff, try and reach out and be around like-minded people, because the rewards are just amazing.
It's brilliant. And from just watching, and I can't wait to attend the London one. And then one day to attend the ball, because with young children, it's not easy, but I will one day. But it looked amazing. And everything that I've read, every literature that I've read has always said community and village and support. Social support is the most important thing, and is one of the vital signs that you will be able to, remain or achieve long-term weight loss if you've got the right community around you.
Yes,
and that's one thing you are building. And I, for one, would like to say that, I'm really thankful that you're in our community and you are bringing everybody together. And with that said, where could we find you, Martin? Where do you hang out? What's your, Instagram, and what's the next event, and how can we connect?
Okay, so I am on Instagram as the Bariatric Cockney. I'm also on YouTube as the Bariatric Cockney as well. Yeah, and as I say, we've just been to the Bariatric Ball. The next event that I have will be the London meet in July, which I know you're going to come to, and I can't wait to meet you in person. It's always nice talking to people, on live videos that I do and things like that. And I even do one-on-one calls with people as well, personal calls with people. Just amazing. So, there's a meet in London in July, which is totally sold out. The demand for it has been incredible. I know there's another meet in August. There's one in August, which is anybody can turn up. Please feel free to come along. It's in Hyde Park in London. They call it just tea in the park. People turn up with their picnics and we all sit together and just all chat and have a laugh and, all find out more and more about each other. That is on the 5th of August in Hyde Park in London. Then I'm now thinking of doing a meet in Brighton on the 19th of August. Just come along, sit along the seafront. If it's a nice day, we'll just all sit and chat and have a nice get together. I've got another event in London again on October the 28th, which is a big event for 100 people, a Halloween costume dress up thing, which is something else that I've never been able to do or feel confident doing, dressing up in clothes, because I could never really find clothes that fit me, or I'd go into a shop and think, what in this shop can I buy that fits, rather than what can I buy that I like. I think you can relate to that as well.
I can definitely relate to that. Oh my God. Many days ended up in tears, all sorts of
Yeah, and I mean, going to sort of nice events where you can actually dress up in nice clothes and things like that and express yourself as a person, and you can then wear your style of clothes that you like to wear, where before, as I say, you've had to just wear what fits you, basically. So, there's events coming up all the time.
Amazing.
If you're on social media, if you follow my page, follow other people's
amazing
pages, there's always stuff.
I will have all your information at the bottom of the episode, and it sounds amazing. And I know you're doing some great stuff, and you are doing peer-to-peer support without even really knowing it. But that's something that's really important for people. And you are, you've got your doors open and you are there, and I really appreciate you, and I know the rest of the community appreciate you. Well, Martin, thank you so much for being my guest on my podcast.
That's no problem. Thank you for having me.
I'm delighted to have you, and I know this will help somebody down the line, whether they listen, next month or they listen 10 years down the line.
And as you say, my door is always open. I always say to people, they can always contact me. I will always reply to every single message I get. Sometimes it may take me a little while because I do get a lot of messages, but I will always reply to everyone. So my door is always open.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Martin. I appreciate you for being here with me. I hope you got some value from this episode. If so, please give me a review. It will make me super happy and support others from our community to find the podcast. Share it with your Barry bestie. Connect with me on Instagram at Gastric Mindset. It'll be wonderful to hear from you.